Okay, we need to talk about the new Hunger Games book because
Yes.
I cannot stop thinking about it. I cannot stop talking about it. I've
Yeah.
been waiting for Suzanne Collins to write this specific story for literally
Yes.
a decade, and I can't believe that it comes out in like 5 days. Um, I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
I'm very excited. I can't believe it's finally here. It's coming on March 17th. So mark your calendars, everybody. Get
Yeah,
ready.
y'all.
Clear the calendar, honestly, so you can like start to finish it. But walk us through what the book's about because this one's different than the other ones, right?
Yes. So when we first read the first Hunger Games, it takes place during the 74th games, and Sunrise on the Reaping, which is the newest book coming out next week, is the 50th Hunger Games, 50. So it's like
Gotcha.
20 something years before. And
Yeah.
it follows Haymitch, who ends up, of course, being Katniss's mentor. And since it's a quarter quell, the way that we see in Catching Fire, it ends up having some like interesting new rules. So the arena has double the tributes, so it's 48 teenagers fighting instead of 24. And
Ooh,
I want to say everything in the arena is poisonous as well. So two thumbs
yikes.
down on that.
Yeah.
Two thumbs
Not
down on that. But I just know that it's going to be so memorable and so just like impactful. I have always thought that the Hunger Games is the single greatest apocalyptic, like, or post-apocalyptic title, period. And everyone will be trying to replicate like the magic of the Hunger Games forever. It's so nuanced and political, and yet it's so emotional. And the core of it is about like fighting for what's right and fighting for the people that you love, which I feel like resonates with so many people. And I just cannot wait for this new book to absolutely destroy me. I remember driving home from the last Mockingjay with my sister. Um, because okay, another reason I love it is because I have a little sister, and tentatively the Hunger Games District 12 is like around North Carolina, which is where I'm from. So just lots of things that made it feel kind of personal. And the
Yeah.
movies always came out on her birthday, so I would like take her for her birthday. So I
Oh.
remember driving home from the last one, and both of us were just like audibly weeping. We couldn't even talk the entire car ride. We
Wait,
just cried.
why am I tearing up? Like I'm actually tearing up. Oh.
It was just like a really standout memory. Um, but I don't know. I just love it so much, and it is not all about a love triangle. It
No.
gets watered down to a love triangle because people cannot comprehend Katniss being independent and having more important things to do. But all that to be said, the week that they announced the book, they also announced we're getting another movie. So, Judy, my sister, get ready for another birthday trip to the Hunger Games.
More crying.
Woo! Um, and I want to hear what you think about potential fan casts because you're like our book casting queen. The people I've seen have been like Drew Starkey, who the longer, like the closer we get to the movie, the less I'm sure he's a fit, even though I love him. But I know Lewis Hoffman is a very popular choice. Do you have anybody that you are like, oh, I would love to see them?
I saw people were saying Austin Butler, which I was like, I don't know
Oh,
about that. It's a good one. I
hmm.
definitely think that's a contender, but I see Harris Dickinson more. He
Yeah.
was in Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman,
He would be so good.
and I actually think he would be so good. Because in that movie too, he kind of like gave a little bit of like Haymitch energy. I don't know, but I think he would be great if they're doing like a younger Haymitch, like around like 15 years old. I think Walker Scobell from Percy
Yeah.
Jackson would be just iconic because he is so funny and so out of pocket and
Yeah.
like has the kind of like humor a little bit, like sarcasm that I think Haymitch has. But
Yeah.
that's kind of what I would see. But I'm also so curious because Chloe is our interviewing queen, like always interviewing the celebrities on the carpet. She was at a carpet literally late last night and is now recording this podcast for us.
Woo!
So I want to know if you could interview one person from any of the past franchise, like who would you interview?
From the last uh the original franchise, I would love to talk to Jennifer Lawrence in any situation, in any context. All of my favorite interviews are the ones that just make me like cry laughing. And I just know when we got into a good flow, we would
Yeah.
just have like an unserious blast. Like it would just be
Yeah.
memes and jokes the entire time, I feel like.
Yes. I just saw a TikToker interview her and I was like, this is such an interesting combination. How would this go? Hilarious. Like the woman is so funny and relatable and could,
Yeah.
I feel like, could woo any person in any room.
Yeah.
I was so impressed.
I mean, she like single-handedly accidentally started the relatable internet vibe by just being honest about being hungry.
Yeah.
And now here we are. And Jen, if you end up being in the new movie, Sunrise on the Reaping, I wouldn't say no. If you want to make a
Oh,
little cameo,
oh,
I would love to
just
see
putting
it.
that out there.
Just
Just
putting it
putting
out
that
there.
out there. Yeah.
I am so excited to see who ends up being in this aside from the confirmed characters. I know that
Yes.
there is kind of a general theory that a couple people from The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which came out in 2023, that's the 10th annual Hunger Games, so that's even farther back. There's a
Okay.
little girl named Maud Ivory who is in Lucy Gray Baird's Covey, her group of musicians. There's a theory that she's an ancestor of Katniss, and there's a theory that Lucy Gray
Hmm.
herself ends up being the woman who works in the seam and gives Katniss her Mockingjay pin. That woman's name is Greasy Say, but some people are like, is that actually Lucy Gray?
Hmm.
So far, not confirmed, but never say never.
I love
But
the theories though.
I cannot get enough of the theories. I love the theories. And I know that you are bursting at the seams with some White Lotus theories, right? I know that's kind of a hop, skip, and a jump, but I need all the theories like a sponge
Yeah.
needs water.
I have been so into just like deep diving on different shows and movies that I'm watching because I'm learning like directors are so intentional about this sort of thing and script
Mm.
writers like there's so many things that like Severance, it's one of those shows I'll go and find like 20 TikToks about everything I missed from the episode. Like there was so much more. So I've just been doing like deep dives and I have a lot of theories on White Lotus. So especially I know. I've got so many. So I know that a big theory going around is the Pied Piper of Hamelin. It's this old, like
Oh,
13th
love.
century story.
Yeah.
And it's basically how Pied Piper essentially kidnapped a bunch of children and led them out of the town Saxon. So
Okay.
Piper and Saxon are siblings on the show. And this story that I'm talking about, this 13th century story, is about a Pied Piper who leads children out of a town of Saxon, Germany, and takes them away to the rats, which the Ratliffs is their last name,
Hmm.
and they disappear into the mountains. And disappear into the mountains, I think, is them disappearing from their father's tax embezzlement and
Oh,
hiding away. I have a theory that they're going to stay in Thailand for much longer because they're hiding from his father's like fraud that he's trying to hide from. So she led them. Piper, the daughter, was the one who led them into Thailand to like study for her thesis,
okay.
and she led away them into the mountains to hide away from the father's tax embezzlement. So that's a huge theory that I'm seeing going around that I really liked. And I talk about this a lot more in detail on our Brit+Co TikTok. So go follow us at Brit+Co if you are
Follow us.
not. We have so much content. You'll see our faces there a lot.
A lot.
A lot. But I really like this theory of kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy happening. Chelsea, one of the characters, she sees this snake necklace, and then the next
Mm.
episode, she gets bitten by a snake. And so I feel like we're going to see that more with the mother has these pills. So I think maybe we'll end up seeing something happen with the pills. I'm not saying an overdose, but maybe something crazy happens there. This son asks about the poisonous fruit. I think something is definitely going to happen there later on with the poisonous fruit. So yeah, there's a lot of things happening that are getting suspicious. And I have lots of theories about it.
Mike White, we have our eyes on you.
I
So
know.
basically, you're saying that all of these people are in Thailand together and they just kind of, a lot of the names and a lot of the plot details seem to be very similar to some stories in history that go very badly.
Yes, notoriously, very
Notoriously
badly.
known for going very badly.
Yes.
Okay. I have to admit though, I love a magical realism prophecy
Yeah.
moment. How are you feeling in general with like those themes and kind of what is happening with the actual plot in case anybody hasn't really caught up too much.
Yeah, I have to say that I think it's paced pretty slow so far. Probably the slowest of any season. And if you know White Lotus, you know that it's very um, easygoing. It's very slow. Not much is happening, but then it'll just get to this crazy climax point where everything's just exploding, and you're like, "What is happening? The Earth is on fire!" Like this is so much
Mm,
information overload at once. But this season feels especially slow.
mm.
I'm just curious to see where it's going. I know that they're trying to hint at lots of things like coming to a resolution at the end with there's been a lot of fingers pointing at the hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil
Yes. I
symbolism
saw you
with the
post about that. I
siblings.
thought that was genius. I love that you caught up on that.
It's and what's interesting is they've been interchanging them a lot. So one episode, maybe Piper will be like see no evil and she'll have like glasses on, and then the other siblings will have headphones. Or they're like their dad said something stupid and they turn away. The other one covers their ears, the other one covers their eyes. So there's a lot of symbolism there that I think is fascinating.
Mm.
And people's critique of this season so far has been that it's just like awful and boring and slow. But I think if we pay attention a little bit more, there's a lot of symbolism, even more so that we could pick up on that I've just been loving. And we know
Yeah.
Mike White loves a twist, so it will come to a crazy resolution.
This kind of reminds me of like conversations around weekly releases, which we might have already talked about actually, just the idea of whether or not we like weekly releases. But do you think that it is slow objectively, or do you think it's just kind of like people are so used to instant gratification and like shows like Outer Banks where an entire season's worth of craziness happens in every single episode? Or like what camp do you kind of find yourself in?
I definitely think it has to do with our attention spans. I'm going to be honest, I loved a binge. Like, there was a couple years where TV shows were only binged, like all of the season all at once. And it's only
Yeah.
been in the past couple years that they've been doing more weekly releases, I feel like. And I do think our attention span is a little messed up. Like, I used to love every week watching Hannah Montana and waiting for the
Right.
next episode to be like, oh my gosh, who is she going to choose? Who's the one? Like, I would freak out. And that's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it makes TV feel like more of a community watch when they're weekly releases.
Oh,
Like,
without a doubt.
we can gather together on even on the internet and discuss our theories weekly rather than if it was all at once that conversation wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
But I really like it. I'm really liking it, and I also am kind of like low key crushing on Timothy Ratliff. Don't judge me.
Wait, that's honestly, listen, when they've got Riz, they've got Riz. And we cannot
Yes.
withstand the Riz. It's our kryptonite. I wish it wasn't true.
Yes.
But actually, I'm so glad you say that because I specifically watch things like choose what to watch based on who's in it. And
Of course.
so my recent celebrity crush is Danny Ramirez, who plays the Falcon in Captain America. I was about to say Winter
Okay.
Soldier, Captain America: Brave New World, and
Love
he's been
it.
in a bunch of other stuff. And when I'm like, wow, this person is so talented and a little bit cute, I might as well just go through their filmography and see what they've been in. And I mean, I've watched like I started The Gifted, which is on Hulu, which is like an
Ooh.
X-Men alternative universe, where like I think the X-Men, honestly, I'm a little confused, but I think the X-Men have like gone underground, gone extinct, and so they're kind of
Yeah.
fighting for survival, whatever. And then I'm kind of eating it up also. If you like superhero
Ooh.
movies, anyone listening,
Yes.
superhero TV shows, I recommend it. And I
Ooh.
also started, what is that movie called? Um, Look Both Ways on Netflix. It's got Lily Reinhart and David Corenswet, who is our new Superman. Hello.
Oh my gosh.
I recommend. And honestly,
Yes.
I remember not being too sure about that movie when it first came out on Netflix. I think it was like 2022. Also, sorry, I'm getting over a cold. Excuse
You're
me.
good.
And I watched it literally just because Danny and David were in it. And then I think it might be my new comfort movie. Like something
Yeah.
about it. I don't want to give it away, but the tagline, the short version, is that it splits Lily Reinhart's character's life in two paths, starting at when she takes a pregnancy test. And one path is the positive pregnancy test, and one path is the negative pregnancy test.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful in a way I was not expecting, that it just made me feel so comforted with
Yeah.
like two completely different like paths of life are equally joyful and equally valid, because I feel like I'm at a point in my life, and also just my personality, where I'm like every decision could like ruin the rest of my life, and because I
Yeah.
just want everything to be like good.
Hmm.
And it's like, no, just because you make one decision over the other and your life could look different doesn't mean it's bad, which is a whole rant. And it did make me cry. I love when a rom-com
Oh,
makes me cry. I listened to some of the music, like the score on repeat, because I love movie scores. But all that
yeah.
to be said, I
I love
recommend
it.
to anyone watching and listening to watch a movie based on your celebrity crush, because you might end up getting a new comfort movie.
Do you want to know one more? I'll do one more out of
Okay,
pocket
wait,
celebrity
wait.
crush. My friends make fun of me every single year, and they always try to get me like a themed present around this for Christmas.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage, specifically in National Treasure, because
Which
it's like
I
my
need
favorite
to
movie of
see.
all time. Wait, you haven't?
No. And I had the DVD
It's
as a
like our national
child.
anthem. Are
I
you
know.
joking?
And I literally, my degree is in American cultural, like, history studies. And I don't know why I haven't seen it. Every single one of my friends is like horrified that I specifically have not seen it. I'm gonna fix that this year. Don't worry. Don't
I
worry.
actually could cry. I actually could cry. It's like my favorite. I can quote it. Like I can quote, "We got to steal the Declaration of Independence." Like I can quote his monologue.
Yeah.
Okay, homework for a
Homework.
podcast this week. To Chloe and anyone listening that
Right.
hasn't, I'm literally appalled with you.
Right.
Actually, watch National Treasure.
Yes,
Soak
ma'am.
it in for the gem that it is.
Yeah.
And then tell me if you don't have a crush on Nicolas Cage at the end of it. Like, come on.
I really do not see that happening. No tea, no shade to that man.
Fair, but that's your homework for this week.
Okay.
You have to watch it.
Although,
Um,
will I get a crush on Riley? Maybe.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe not.
Like, sure. I don't know. I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe if he's your type. We have different types, so I don't know.
That's also true.
But I also love Pedro Pascal. I started watching The Last of Us because of Pedro Pascal. So that's not controversial because I feel like everyone kind of loves him, but I did
And
start watching that.
and you know who's in season 2? Danny Ramirez. Thank you, God.
Who is your celebrity crush? We
I'm
get both of
dead.
them.
That's incredible. And have you seen the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
I have. It's so good.
It's a Pedro Pascal, Nicolas Cage movie.
Both of them.
Absolutely insane. And another comfort movie. I watch it all the time. It's so good,
Mhm.
and I can't like pinpoint why it's good. I think it's just a great script, and they have great
It
chemistry.
is.
And I'm also dying to know, as we wrap up, what else are you watching in the next couple days for anyone who is too busy with work to know what's coming out? Because that is how I am with so many things.
So, Wheel of Time, season 3. It's on Prime Video March 13th. That's going to be incredible. Opus with Iowa Debris is in
A
theaters
queen.
March 14th. Incredible also. And then I think both of us are also watching Severance. So that's both of
Yes.
ours. And obviously, White Lotus. I'm
Yes.
obsessed. I
And
will continue to watch.
oh, without a doubt. Yeah, you got to keep us updated on these. Got to keep the people updated on the theories.
Yeah.
And I am so interested with this Pied Piper, the Pied Piper theory and the snake situation. I just can't wait to know what happens. I like need to know
Yeah.
in my bones. And then, oh, the other thing is that Millie Bobby Brown's Netflix movie, The Electric State, is finally out on the 14th, which is in 2 days from now.
Yes.
Tune in, y'all. Millie Bobby Brown, I
Yeah.
love you. You're
And
gonna have a fantastic career now that I mean, not because Stranger Things has wrapped, but Stranger Things has ended. And
yes.
unrelated, I can't wait to see your career moving forward.
And you were also at her Stranger Things co-stars premiere last night. Do you want to talk
Yes,
about that for a minute? Because that looked
y'all.
so fun.
I have never seen a like so it was a screening, like a New
Hmm.
York screening, which is different than an actual premiere. Like it was
Okay.
very like the guest list was really small and the carpet was really small. But that being said, the step and repeat, like the really fancy backdrop, was the most like beautiful step and repeat I've seen at one of these smaller
Really?
premieres. It was so technicolor and just really like well constructed. It wasn't just like a one-dimensional backdrop. It was like lots of elements going on. But all of my friends know that I love Sadie Sink almost like top 5 celebrities, which is saying something for me.
Wow.
And she's like the most consistent person on my fashion Pinterest board. I like screenshot and bookmark her
Ah.
outfits all the time. I wore an outfit to my first New York Fashion Week because Molly Dixon, her stylist, had styled her in that. And I like it was a oversized white button down with like a black jeweled bralette, but it was before they became super mainstream. And so I think that they
Oh.
started that trend because I couldn't find one at all. I had to like find one on Etsy. And then that summer, like a couple months later, I saw them everywhere. So shout
Wow,
out Molly Dixon
iconic.
starting a trend.
Yeah.
But all that to be said, I love Sadie Sink. I stood really close to Sadie Sink, and she is so beautiful, and her smile is so radiant. And the movie is Odessa. I never said that. The movie's called
That's
Odessa. It's
okay.
on Hulu March 20th, and
Okay.
it's like a rock opera about Odessa, who is played by
Whoa.
Sadie Sink, who's a farm girl who sets out to like find this lost family heirloom, and then it ends up morphing into a quest to save her true love after they meet and tragedy strikes. Um, and it's like so campy and creative. And the
Hmm.
end, I kind of wasn't sure how I felt about it going into the movie, just because I'm more of like a really toned down drama kind of person, or like outright fantasy. Like mixing the two
Yeah.
is a little bit difficult for me.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful. The end made me like get a little emotional. And Sadie Sink started out on Broadway. Her voice is incredible. And
Oh,
I cannot wait
I
to
didn't know
see.
that.
Yeah, she was Annie. I cannot
Oh,
wait to see all these people who like didn't know she can sing hear her because she's amazing. She did say she probably won't release an album, like because her brain doesn't work like that. Um, but if she ever wanted to do a musical on Broadway, because she's doing a play on Broadway this spring, but if she ever wanted to do a musical, I would be front row.
wow. Now I feel like I need to go see it as soon as it comes out because I'm so curious to see, like, hear her voice. I didn't know she could sing.
Yeah, just literally for the creativity of the project and the originality, the fact that just the editing, like everything about it, I kind of, in my little like social review, I kind of said that like it feels like the Hunger Games and Ready Player One, which is like kind of an 80s
Oh,
vibe.
yes.
It feels like those two had a dance battle, which is a very specific
Oh,
verb that I used on purpose because I didn't know how else to describe the way that the movie made me feel. But overall, like I gave it a thumbs up. I really enjoyed it.
I love it. I need your letterbox because if Hunger Games and Ready Player
Right.
One had a dance battle is honestly an iconic review. Like,
Honestly, I'm gonna make that. I said that on Twitter, but I'm gonna make or X, but I'm gonna make that my letterbox review.
we got through all of our hot takes, all of our opinions. We gave you everything that you need to watch for this week and this weekend. So I think that's all.
Make sure you tag us with any of your hot takes on everything from the White Lotus to Opus to which Sadie Sink outfit is your favorite. Literally, we will yap
Oh,
about anything. Tag us at Brit+Co on all socials, and we can't wait to yap with y'all.